used to be a folk singer. I'm a recovering folk singer. I mean, you know, I got my first guitar in 1966. I wanted to sound like Jimi Hendrix, but my dad wouldn't let me have an electric guitar. I wasn't old enough to get in the beer joint, so I went to the coffee house. I started hearing about Woody Guthrie, Cisco Houston, I already knew about Pete Seeger pretty much, and Ramblin' Jack Elliott. And then I ran into Towns Van Zandt. I followed him over to Houston and around Texas and kind of a big circle for a little while, and suddenly Towns turned around one day and said, "Are you following me?" He kind of had a point. I decided it was necessary to extend my range because, you know, I could have gotten in trouble. I heard what was going on in Austin, but it was, you know, weather too good, girls too pretty, dope too cheap. I can't get nothing done here. In high school, my hobby was turning cowboys on to LSD. Jack Elliott made perfect sense to me. Finally, I got to Nashville, Tennessee when I was 19 years old, and a guy Clark. And it was a good spot to be because people came through town. Over the years, I've met most of my heroes, and only two have been assholes. I think it's pretty good. One night we were sitting around Jim McGuire's photo studio. Me, Guy, and Susanna, Jerry Jeff Walker was in town. Jerry Jeff said, "Ramblin' Jack Elliott's at the exit in." So we went down the exit and we kind of had the joint wired. We didn't pay to get in, or, well, I did unless I was with Guy and Susanna and Jerry Jeff. I couldn't afford to pay attention. And that night, I only heard Jack on records up to that point. I figured out where a lot of the guitar playing I did and the other people that I learned it from came from. Especially Towns, John Prine. And Jack did a tune called 912 Greens. Story about how he traveled down to New Orleans in the early 50s. In search of a banjo player called Billy Fair. Lived at 912 Toulouse Street. Said the only way he knew how to get in that place was over a back fence. Now you're up. Watch out for the rusty nail. Now you're over. Finally got to New York City when I was 50 years old to live. I lived in Greenwich Village, the first 18 of those, because that's where my job was invented. I interrogated everybody I could find. Found out that I was living across the street from where Maria Muldaur grew up. Got that from her when she was on my radio show. I walked in talking to Matt Evenaugh's shop one day, upstairs above his guitar store. And he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of a banjo player called Billy Fair?" He just talked to him. I think Billy had drifted to Woodstock by that time, and he'd gone home by the time I got a place there a few years later. And New Orleans has been kind of in my orbit for a long time. But usually I wouldn't have very much time. I'd come in on a bus and go by and, maybe, get in early in the morning, play the show, and usually have a chance to stop at Jeans and get a poor boy out of town, and then I was gone. And I was at a TV show, filmed in New Orleans, called Tremaine. It was a good gig until the second season when they shot me in the face. But I had more time in town. I took advantage of it. I went and saw some things that I never got to see, some places I've never been before. One night, I came out of Reservation Hall, and I realized that wasn't very far from 912 to Lee Street. So I decided the pilgrimage was on. It was about 2:30 in the morning. I tried to find that back way over that back fence, but you can't get back there anymore. They closed that alley off because people with a lot of money bought all those houses. When Jack was there in the 50s, it was just kind of, well, musicians couldn't afford to live there. That should tell you something, how much the French Quarter's changed. I tried a couple of times. One place I did try to jump the fence, there was a dog that I didn't even have to see, just heard him and knew that I didn't want to go all the way over. So I gave it up, walked her back around to the front. I just wanted to see the address and get that kind of etched into my brain so I wouldn't wake up in the morning and think it was a dream. I went down to the Cafe de Mom, got a couple of cups of coffee, and okay, 5 or 6 of them, yeah. Walked back up by the brewery and over to the levee. It passed, getting late, it was starting to get early. Stood shivering. She was looking at